The difference between me and other people is when they picture an icon, they picture someone they've seen on TV before. I picture myself.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Icon Elements with me, your girl, Hallie Halpern. I am gonna keep it to you 100% honest, like always. I literally just had a mental breakdown a little bit because this is the first time that I am trying to use YouTube camera, like my camera that I bought a long time ago for YouTube, to film myself recording this episode. And it's actually a really huge trigger for me when I see myself on my YouTube camera and when I know that there's an intention behind recording for YouTube, because I do have a lot of childhood trauma surrounding YouTube. I had a YouTube channel when I was in middle school leading into high school, and apparently that was a problem for a lot of people, and it caused so much bullying and trauma because I was trying to be something, and so I stopped using it for a really long time. And so because of that, it has been really hard for me to even do any of this shit. And enough is enough. I feel called to try to at least record my podcast episodes for YouTube. I feel it in my intuition to do this. It makes sense. But yeah, it's really fucking challenging, especially because I'm looking at the camera. I'm trying to make sure that it's recording on my laptop. I want to make sure that everything is good, the lighting. It's really overwhelming, especially because I'm one of those people that likes my angles to be good if I know I'm going to be on video. Obviously my TikToks and my stories are pretty unhinged, but you know what I'm saying. So let's jump right in. This week, I've been seeing a lot of content surrounding the same topic that I was planning on talking about, because you know how the collective works. We all kind of get ideas similar at the same time. But first, before I jump into any of that, I wanted to say, I know that on this podcast, a lot of the times I talk to you guys as if you've been on the same spiritual journey as me for 9 years. And I know that's a little unfair because we're all, some people listening to my podcast have probably never even thought about the shit that I'm saying. And that's okay. But I need to also address things to you guys a little bit more too, because I want this to be accessible for everybody. And I want this to be something that all of you guys can learn from. So one thing that, and I was talking to my mom about this the other day, I was like, I don't even remember really exactly what started my spiritual journey. I think, I'm a little uncomfortable, I need to scoot in. I think what started my spiritual journey was the Law of Attraction book, like The Secret, I think it was, or it might have just been called The Law of Attraction. I don't know if it was The Secret. I read that. My mom was trying to get me to read that for years, literal years, and I just never wanted to. And she never was really into it either. It was kind of weird. It was like she had the book, but she never really was into it. But she was like, you should read this because you're super depressed and negative. And I was like, yeah, no. Because when your parents make you're like somebody in a position of power wants you to do something, it makes you not want to do it. Things that my parents tell me usually go in one ear and out the other, and you can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves. So even though my mom was telling me this shit for a long time, I never listened. I just didn't listen. And 111 on the thing. Perfect. Cool. Beautiful. Sorry, I get so distracted. My ADHD be crazy. So I read this book and I was like, huh, that's actually really interesting. So you're saying all of my biggest fears will come true if I think about them all the time, and vice versa. All of my dreams will come true if I believe that they're possible. That's crazy. And obviously it's the kind of thing that takes a really long time to implement. And it's still over time, I feel like we just level up and keep uncovering new layers of spirituality. But the one thing, and I'm kind of going on a bunch of different tangents right now, but the one thing that if you're new to this world that you need to understand is that wanting something is not enough at all. Wanting something is only the first step. What Abraham Hicks teaches, that's my favorite school of thought, is that when you experience negative emotion, you are establishing what you do not want. If you're feeling a negative emotion, that is showing you what you do not want, which is the great first step. So once you know what you don't want, then you can figure out what you do want. So if you're scared or anxious because you have bills coming up, right, and you feel like you don't have the money for it, then what you don't want is to be poor. What you don't want is to not have money. What you don't want is to be broke, okay? So what is the opposite of that? The opposite is you want to have money, you want to be wealthy, you want to be abundant. So if you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, like I don't want to be broke, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to be poor, I'm so sick of being poor, I hate being poor, that you're gonna continue being poor because the universe doesn't know the difference between positive and negative thoughts, really. It's more like what you're focusing on. It doesn't like attribute a positive or a negative to it. I have heard it described as, let's say you're at a restaurant and also I feel so, like sometimes I hate talking about this stuff because I feel like I might be teaching it wrong, but then I realize like we're all teaching things from our level of knowledge. So if you're listening to my podcast, it's because you want to learn from me. So take what I say with like, not a grain of salt, but other people are gonna describe it differently. But the universe is unbiased in what it's trying to give you. So if you're at a restaurant and you say to the server, I want a burger, the server is going to bring you a burger. Fuck. There needs to be a better way for me to just explain it right now. The universe is basically like the server in your life. So if you're saying broke, poor, lack of money, scarcity, the universe is going to bring you that, okay? The universe doesn't hear I don't want or I want. The universe just hears the phrase. So you need to focus on what you do want, or the universe is going to bring you what you do not want. This is why it is so important to switch everything and flip everything around when you're experiencing negative emotions, okay? And this is something for me, I'm like so nervous right now because I keep looking at myself on the camera. So if this episode doesn't hit as hard as my other ones, I'm really sorry, but I have to get out of my comfort zone here because staying in your comfort zone is not going to get you anywhere. I need to take a deep breath. You can probably tell that I'm a little bit stiff. This happened actually, fun fact, in my first podcast episode ever, I felt really stiff. My business coach, Maddie, actually told me that too. And I'm going through it again, and I just have to get used to recording it with the camera, and I feel like I'm gonna throw up, but like icons push through, bitch, you know? Icons push through, fake it till you make it. Let's go. So the first concept of spirituality that I learned was that manifesting is realizing what you do not want and then focusing on what you do want, okay? Now that is the law of attraction, is focusing your positive energy on what you do want and feeling good, focusing on feeling good. What's really important that a lot of people don't implement, and this is where you really start to see magical changes in your life, is the law of assumption, which is that you assume you already have it. Right now on TikTok and on social media, this is being coined as lucky girl syndrome. I'm so lucky, everything works out for me. You are assuming that you are lucky and that everything works out for you. Law of assumption, right? So law of assumption to me also is just assuming that you're gonna get it, you know, get whatever it is, which for me it's like, okay, I assume that I'm going to be rich and famous. Like I have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be rich and famous. Like that is going to happen. It is my birthright. It is written in the stars. I would not have been given that desire if it was not meant for me. If you have an innate desire for something and you're trying to tell yourself, but that's not realistic. No, you were given that desire for a reason. Anything that you were born with, your childhood dream, whatever that was, there's a reason that you were born with it as a child. As adults, we are constantly becoming more realistic because life fucking tries to knock us down. The entire point of being an adult is to try to unravel our limiting beliefs and to get back to that inner peace, that inner love, and those dreams that we had as a child. Because when we were brought here to this earth, and again, this is just what people like spiritual people believe in is that we chose our soul's path before we came here, and we already had our destiny. We picked our family. We picked all of the lessons that we're gonna learn because that is what gets us to level up as a soul. And that's why people that are really spiritual believe in reincarnation, because every time you're brought back to earth, it's to level up in the spiritual realm and to gain more and more knowledge, to learn more and more lessons. So back to what I was saying, how would it make sense if you had this dream your whole life and you try to convince yourself that it's like not for you, whether it be like being an actor or, you know, being a marine biologist or some shit. You were born with that for a reason. So for me, ever since day one, I'm gonna take a sip of water. Ever since day one on this motherfucking earth, trying to save this just to be safe. There you go. Ever since day one on this earth, I knew that I wanted to be a star. I tried to deny myself from thinking that that was meant for me for the longest time, you guys. Like, I, you know, grew up, I went to acting camp. First of all, I don't even want to be an actor. I just want to be a fucking celebrity. I thought I wanted to be an actor, but after realizing how much you have to memorize, I was like, girlie, I'm good. I'm too funny for that anyway. Wow, I really do ramble, but it's iconic. Okay, so my thing was I tried to start being like, no, like I don't really want to be famous. Like tried the whole childhood actor thing. My parents made me go to college. They were like, you need to grow up. So instead of moving to LA to become an actress, I went to school in Orlando, which ended up being the best decision ever because LA is kind of flopping and Miami is kind of thriving, and now I live in Miami and everything happens for a reason. No offense to LA, still love everybody that lives there, but cannot fucking imagine driving a car and there's like an hour in between you and like your friend's house. What the fuck, bitch? What the fuck? Earthquakes? I'm good. Anyway, I'll be out there to visit within the next few months, probably. Love you guys. Yeah, so I remember, for me personally, you know, going back to the remembering what your childhood dreams were, remembering why you were reincarnated in this lifetime. For me, it was, I was journaling at my ex's house when I lived with him, and I remember, I think I've told you guys this story before. I remember journaling and all of a sudden like my higher self took over and was just like, you want to be famous. Like you want to be a celebrity. Because for so long I was journaling, like this was during the pandemic where I was journaling so often. It was like, I want to be a well-known graphic designer. I want to work with like well-known people. I want to work with musicians. I want to work with DJs. I want to work with Space. I want to work with Dave Grutman. Like those are all true facts, but that's not the end. That is until, right? I love what I do as a graphic and web designer, and I really am passionate about working with people in the entertainment industry especially. But girl, let's be fucking for real. Let's go back to since the day I was born, I've been performing for people in public, strangers, on the playground, wherever. I have always been the person making everybody laugh. For me, personally, I know that I was destined to do way fucking more than sit behind a computer all day. And that's okay. I can do both. I can love what I do now and know what's coming in my future. And it's about being honest with yourself, right? Like, what steps are you taking today to get back to that childhood dream? There is a reason that you were given it. And I know for some of you watching this, you're listening, you're gonna be triggered as fuck when you take this information in. Because I was triggered the first time I heard it. I went to this woman's higher self like workshop, and I sat there and I was like, she asked us to do a meditation to visualize our highest self and like our highest self talking to us. Meanwhile, your highest self is the version of you in your highest timeline. And for those of you who are new to spirituality, this might be a little overwhelming, and this is also really hard for me to explain. But in the quantum field, there are many dimensions, and your highest self is the one in the, I think in the 5th dimension, and like, I think. See, like this is why I can't talk about things in specifics, because I'm not that girl. If you want to learn about the quantum field, please listen to the podcast Your Manifesting Bestie. She is well versed in this stuff. I'm just here to give you guys like the more digestible funsies, little tidbits. And I respect the fact that like that I'm not meant to speak on that because it's just too much. It's too analytical, and that's not what I'm here to do. But one of the fields, one of the fucking quantum fields, one of the dimensions is your highest self. And your highest self is you having everything that you desired. Is you at your healthiest, most beautiful, most abundant, most successful, most luxurious, or not luxurious, whatever it is that you want. Picture yourself having everything you could ever fucking want. That is your highest self, okay? And so for this workshop, this woman asked us to visualize our highest self. And so at the time, I was just starting my graphic and web design business, and I was like, okay, what do I want from this? And I, at the time, was lying to myself, and I was like, yeah, like, I totally just like want to be like a well-known graphic and web designer. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? No, you don't, liar, okay? So I go into this meditation, and I see my highest self talking to me, and it's actually me. You know, like those like marquee dressing room lights when you're getting ready to like go on an interview or like be on stage. I saw myself turn around from like looking at myself in the, so okay, imagine me as my highest self. My highest self is sitting looking in the marquee lights mirror, and then she swivels around and starts talking to me. And she just looks so elegant in like a suit, like a women's like silk power suit. And that's when I realized, and we come out of the meditation and I'm like, I'm meant to be an entertainer. So I realized my life's purpose, my dharma, is to entertain. In that moment, that came to me, the channel that through source energy, through my highest self, I realized that my life purpose is to entertain. And it's so fucking cool. This was definitely like 4 years ago. But during that workshop, it completely changed my life because I realized that, you know, you can have a career that's different from what your life purpose is, but you need to do your life purpose or you're always going to feel a sense of unfulfillment. I love when people compliment my graphic design work, my web design work, when people say that I inspire them, whatever. Do you wanna know what my favorite compliment is ever? You're so fucking funny, Hallie. I love watching you. You're so entertaining. Every other compliment hits. This shit hits deeper. Being told that I'm funny is the best thing that you could ever tell me. Being told that you like to watch or listen to me that's everything to me because you're fulfilling my life purpose. I know that that's what I'm meant to be doing. So what did I do with that information? Well, nothing for a while, to be honest with you. Let me think about this. What did I do? Well, so I was kind of in denial still at that point that I wanted to be famous, right? So I'm literally sitting here thinking like, what did I do? Oh, I know what I did. So at the time, actually, I had been using Twitter a lot, and Twitter is full of a bunch of fuck-faced, low-life losers that have nothing better to do with their time but complain about absolutely everything. And I hate them. I genuinely hate Twitter users. It used to be my entire life. Most of my first clients were from Twitter. All of my friends used to be on Twitter. And now I'm embarrassed to have spent pretty much any of my life with most of those people. I know that I sound really mean for that, but you have to understand, I would have been so much more successful so much sooner if I hadn't been surrounding myself with people that have an extreme lack mindset, are mad at the world, and can't stand to see other people succeed. So if you're on Twitter, I want you to first of all fucking delete it. Those people are miserable and you deserve better. Thank you. So back to what I was saying, I actually, during this time when I was living with my ex, which I would say is like 2 years after that highest self meditation, I was starting to realize that this whole like pandemic tweeting thing was like really getting to me. And like every time I would tweet, I felt like I had to walk on eggshells. I could never be that funny on there because of all the social justice warriors. So I deleted Twitter and I started using Instagram stories. That is where everything changed for me. I started saying my ridiculous content. I started being a little bit not politically correct. I started being fucking funny. I started being unhinged. And then when I got out of my relationship, that's when things really, really took off, because not only could I be hilarious, but I could also make fun of men relentlessly and talk about dating and also post thirst traps all the time. And I just started having a really good time. And I realized that like a huge part of my self gratification, like feeling good, was getting the reactions to my stories, you know? And so for me, even though it took a really long time, I realized that most of my pleasure comes from that part of my day. From posting shit, from people laughing. And now, fast forward, I'm gonna wrap up my fucking little life story. Fast forward to now, Instagram is going down the tubes. Instagram story views are plummeting. I switched over to TikTok because that's also how I can expand my career. And, you know, gonna keep expanding TikTok, get onto YouTube now, see where everything goes. But first of all, going back to what I was just saying, I know it is in the cards for me to be a fucking superstar. And I want you to get really clear on what it is that you want. I want you to I'm stressed out. I'm stressed out because it's like, I don't even know what I want you to do. I want you to like stop. I want you to be fucking for real. That's what I want for you. Really think about what that one dream was for your childhood. What is that one thing that you put on the back burner, and start making strides to get back to it. Okay? One thing that I did actually right before the pandemic was, when I thought I might want to be an actor still, I took an acting class here in Miami, and I realized, no, I really don't want to do this. But guess what? I tried it. Now I might take a comedy writing class sometime in the near future. I genuinely don't believe Miami is good for the arts. You know, coming from Philadelphia and like the Northeast, where people are just like really good at the arts, it kind of feels terrible here. Miami is great for a lot of things. I don't think the performing arts is one of them, and that's okay. But if you wonder why I haven't been jumping at the chance to take like more arts classes here, nah, that's why. I urge you, I implore you, and now I need to take my own advice because I really want to take more. I want to take a dance class, a heels class again, and I'm so embarrassed because I'm just kind of like I don't like being the worst at anything. I just had to literally stop this to delete old videos off my camera because it stopped recording. So this is what I'm saying, you guys. There's just too much going on, and I think I'm like a little bit too, am I autistic? Like I just kind of feel like there's like, I shouldn't be this overwhelmed. I just think that like hot girls shouldn't have to do hard things. Like, I don't want to do anything hard. I will not build anything. I don't want to fucking go to jury duty. Like, obviously I'm gonna get fucking out of that by like calling a psychiatrist. Like, do I look like the kind of person that could go to jury duty? Are you kidding? No, ew, that's gross. Other things I won't do are like if I have to go to the DMV, I'm gonna freak out. Like, I will go, but it's like, that's gross. Also, like, what else was I talking about? Like Roth IRAs and like shit like that, 401ks, no. Ever have a corporate job, clock in, clock out. Have anyone tell me anything that I have to do ever? No. The only person who can tell me what to do is a man in the bedroom. Everyone else can leave me the fuck alone. I actually look really pretty. I wish you guys listening to this could see me now, but I'm sure you've seen enough of me. Anyway, so I was talking about how, yeah, I would love to take a dance class. I really want us to all start enjoying our lives, like actually enjoying it, because I saw this quote that really freaked me out, and it was like, the way we live our lives is the way we spend our days, or the way we spend our days is the way we live our lives. That freaks me out. That really freaks me out, because it's like, you know, I've spent a lot of time in my life, you know, just doing the same shit every day and like kind of just going through the days, and it makes them go by faster. And one of the ways you can actually slow down time, because time isn't real, is by learning new things and doing new things every single day. So like, even though it's nice to have a routine, I'm trying to like switch it up, go new places, do new things, so that time slows down, you know? And yeah. So back to what we were talking about. Your life's purpose is really important for you to know. There's this book that really helped me, and it's called, it's by Sahara Rose. It's like Your Highest Self book. It's like a book, and there's like questions in there that really helped me. I would definitely look into that. Also, just understand that the only thing worse than trying is not trying at all. And I know that sounds like one of those posters that you saw in like your 8th grade math class, but it's true. And I feel so much more fulfilled now living my life's purpose, even though like my entire life is not just about entertaining people. Just knowing that I am entertaining people makes my days so much more exciting, because you'll know if you're doing shit that's out of alignment with you, because you will feel exhausted. For example, when I'm working on a project for a client that I'm not interested in, because obviously we all accept projects that we're not interested in because from time to time, because money, obviously. When I'm working on a project that I'm not interested in, I feel like I need to abuse Adderall, which I really try not to do anymore. I'm in extreme anxiety over it all the time. Not to say that I haven't taken Adderall for projects I do care about, but I'm saying like, I'll take Adderall to do, like, I usually only take Adderall to do things I really don't want to do. And I'm not prescribed it anymore, obviously. So for those of you who knew me in college, I swear I'm not getting back on Adderall. It's just a once in a while thing. But you can feel when shit's out of alignment for you. So if you're just starting your spiritual journey, the first thing I would do is I recommend reading The Secret, The Law of Attraction. Those are some great books. There's books that, okay, no, fuck that. Before either of those, I want you to read You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, and then You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. Those are the starter books. This is all on my Amazon storefront, by the way. After that, you're gonna read The Secret or The Law of Attraction, and then from there, I actually want to read these books that I haven't read, which is Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural. I'm also going to read Atomic Habits, and I'm excited for those. But in terms of books that I've read that have changed my life, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. The 4 Agreements did not stick with me. I do take everything, well, I'm learning more as I'm getting more and more evolved, that I don't take things personally as much anymore, but for a long time, I took things personally. The 4 Agreements is a great book. You should totally read it. I definitely need to reread it. That's one of the 4 agreements, not to take things personally. Here I am constantly talking to you guys like you can read my mind. I don't know why I do that, and I'm sorry. But yes, one thing to always remember, that the universe is here to help you. The universe wants to see you succeed, and what you desire was given to you for a reason, and it is your birthright to have it. It is, you are meant, excuse me, to be successful. You're meant to be happy. You are meant to have all of your dreams come true, and anybody that tells you that you're not is just bitter and living in a different reality. Also, I always say this, you guys know, but don't take advice from people who aren't where you want to be in life. I don't want you guys to get discouraged when people, if you start really trying to get into spirituality or start to like level up in your life or get into following your childhood dreams, people are gonna hate. People hate on me all the time, bitch. You know, you just have to stop letting it affect you, and that comes with time. And I think I have episodes on how to stop giving a fuck what other people think, and it's definitely something that you will have to constantly work on. And also remember that like no one, oh yeah, I do have an episode called You Can't Have Fans Without Having Haters, so you can go listen to that one if you want. And yeah, this is, I feel like every time I make an episode, I kind of feel like I'm rambling, but then I listen back and it actually makes sense. So hopefully that's what the situation is this time. I just get so excited to talk to you guys that I don't even know what I'm gonna say. But if you do have any questions about like other ways to just start your spiritual journey, let me know. One thing I'm also really loving right now is this quantum leaping meditation by Ishpreet K on YouTube. I'll link it in the show notes probably, if I remember. Love that. That I think is like, it's beautiful, it's emotional, and it's basically helping you jump timelines to your highest timeline. I know that that might sound overwhelming for those of you who are new to this, but just take it for what it is. Just jump in, let's fucking go. Let's manifest our dream lives. We have been through too much to keep playing small. Do not let your haters fucking win. Do not let your haters eat, bitch. Let's go. Let's show everybody what the fuck you're made out of. Let's chase those childhood dreams. Let's get successful and iconic together. I mean, we're already iconic, but let's just continue leveling up. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and let me know if you like the whole YouTube idea for those of you watching on YouTube. I'm gonna do it anyways because fuck you if you hate it. Talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.